Good evening. This is your beloved Zarina, your group consciousness, tuning in on this beautiful Thursday evening to say hello and welcome, and to let you know how much we are enjoying this time of intertwining and twining and blending and weaving. We always do so enjoy the feeling of all of our stories meeting on the loom, and this beautiful noticing of how all the threads of our stories come together to create such an interesting pattern. These patterns which cannot be denied. These patterns which indicate, to us at least, great evolution, great understanding, a deepening of our collective soul contract to be of service, to take care of one another. And this we see on an ongoing basis. It makes us so proud to be the weaving of this group, the structure of this group. We are aware that we do have speakers lining up and that Master Saint Germain is here, eager to hold counsel with you all. And so without further ado, we are going to withdraw, move off to the side, and allow your dear friend, our dear friend, Master Saint Germain, to come in. Dear ladies, it's always such a joy to be here. By now, I am so thrilled to know that this is an often weekly event. Oh, it's Thursday. I get to be with my dear ladies. You all are so dear to me. I wanted to share something that I noticed in your channel today, and she has given her full permission to allow me to share this with you all. When she was working in service with a client, there was a point in the work in which she herself was able to zoom, as it were, way back and be in the pathway of what you might call your red eagle, way, way, way up high. And as she watched her client speak, she was aware that this client was not only this one particular human being, but this client was representing all of humanity, that all of humanity was speaking through this client and as this client. And the words from the song, "Each man's joy is joy to me, each man's grief is my own." And of course, dear ladies, yes, we would say each person's joy is joy to me, each person's grief is my own. No person is an island. Yes, indeed, we can change those words to make them gender appropriate. But the gist of this is that your channel received a beautiful vision right in front of her of the power, the magnitude that every single human being possesses to be an ambassador for all of humanity. Every human being represents all of humanity. Back in the day when I was walking around on the planet, I loved to do plays, and I dabbled in the theater quite a bit. And we used to do what you now call a morality play. These were plays that were done in church, and they were done to tell stories. Believe it or not, in the Roman Catholic Church, we used to put on plays. And I loved the role of every man. Every man was a character. in the morality plays, and every man represented, that's right, every man. Although nowadays we say every person. Every man was every person. And what's so interesting is that this every person was often juxtaposed opposite the person playing Christ. And so there were two people on stage, the one playing every man and the one playing Jesus, the Christ. And they kind of danced around one another. I believe they had dialogue together. But the everyman was very important, the every person character, because it gave everyone in the congregation a chance to feel at home. Like, okay, there's somebody on that stage that represents me that I can identify with. I don't have to be that perfect Christ. Now, that was many years ago, many years ago, 800 some years ago, I believe now, or maybe even longer. And what has happened between then and now is so beautiful. What I have observed in the many years, the centuries that I stayed incarnate on the planet, I was able to witness gradually what we would call the everyman or the every person, that idea in consciousness becoming clearer and clearer and more fused with the divine, so that these days, the every person is also the every Christ, or the every Buddha, the every Lakshmi, the every Kuan Yin, the every Oshun, the every Muhammad, the every divinity. And all of this came as your channel was listening intently to her client, describing a series of events that were quite dramatic and brutal and difficult for her family, for her young daughters, and for her to endure. And the ways in which she had triumphed over these difficulties, that brought, I believe, your channel into that knowing that she was listening now to every person, that all of humanity was talking. And in that same moment, what your channel was able to see was all of humanity, all of divinity talking, speaking, and coming to the conclusion that we are always more than we seem. And even in the worst of circumstances, we are, and I'm going to quote your channel now, we are going to meet our good. This particular woman had gone through a very difficult marriage with a human being who had a problem with addiction, and he became very difficult. Even though she loved him deeply, she had to divorce him. And then shortly after, he left the earth plane. He made his transition. When your channel met him, he was transitioned and brilliantly and happily sober. And the first thing he wanted to tell your channel's client about was how happy he was to be sober. He had gone to meet his good. He spoke beautifully about how dying was the best thing that could have happened to him because he's clean and sober and committed and happy. And this client of your channels had felt that, had known that in her heart, that despite all the horrors that she had been through, that everyone was moving forward and, to quote your channel again, going to meet their good. This is the path of humanity. And we know that everything that you are going through these days, how hard it is to keep your spirits up because you care so deeply about every person, about every man and every woman. What I want you to know is that there truly is a fusing in consciousness so that the idea of the person or the humanity, the idea that humanity is on one side of the stage and divinity is on the other side of the stage, that has come to pass. That is no longer an idea that is active, I would say, in your consciousness. Your evolution, my dear friends, has brought the personhood to the divinity and the divinity to the person and fused them together. So now every person is every aspect of divinity at the same time. You know this, and I know you know this, and I wanted you to hear it. And I wanted you to know that even though I am not in my earth skin anymore, and it may seem like, well, easy for you to say, Germaine, you're just floating around. We've got our feet in the muck. Yes, that is partly true. You do have your feet in the muck, but I had my feet in the muck for many, many centuries. And I saw the beginnings of this. I saw the beginning of this. I saw the alchemy coming. Right now, I'm impressing your channel with a beautiful a stripe, a healing stripe, like what would be seen in front of the barber shop or the surgery, the apothecary. I saw it when I was a practicing healer, that healing serpent, which also illustrates this deep fundamental alchemy, this weaving together of humanness and divinity. I saw it. And now I am seeing it not only coming to fruition, I would say, I am seeing it flower. I am seeing it move in a way that astounds even me. I didn't know that consciousness would begin to flower this soon, but it is flowering. Be of good cheer. You are, of course, alive to the rumblings of war and rumors of war. Keep alive also to the knowing that humanity is one being, and that as the one being that humanity is, this one being that is humanity is resolved to be the fulfillment of its divinity. That is a resolution, that's a promise, and it's coming up from the ground. Now, I'm getting a tap on the shoulder. Someone is saying, Germaine, you're so long-winded. Would you step aside? And so I am being asked to step aside. And we do have somebody else who would like to come in and speak to this issue. And here's my old friend, Master Teacher Emmanuel. I'm going to step aside. Good evening, ladies. Your Zarina told me I could come on in. I hope that's all right. It's a blessing to see you all. You're all looking terrific. Bless you all. I like the changes in your hair. I noticed some of you have had haircuts recently. Good for you. Keep it up. But I'm not here to talk about your hair. I am here to talk about something else having to do with your consciousness, with human consciousness, something that you may have heard of or are aware of. And my dear friend Red Eagle is also here, and he will be talking about this from his perspective. So let me just put a toe in the water here and talk to you for just a few minutes about how, for many centuries, humanity has had a dream about an apocalypse when everything goes dark and everything changes, and then a personage, like a divine being, comes back and sets everything right. And this concept of that noble human being or that divine being coming back and setting everything right, putting everything back in order, has been a long held dream of yours, my dear ones. And it is in almost every single one of your religious and spiritual systems. You are, of course, well acquainted with the idea in Christianity of your dear brother and friend Yeshua or Jesus coming back. But you know, there is a similar idea in Islam of a great being coming back and putting things right. And there have been ideas like this and dreams like this of a giant being, kind of a collective, really, of divine consciousness coming back and putting things right. But something has changed. And what's changed, my dears, is really beautiful. Because for the longest time, there was an enormous amount, a great percentage in consciousness that held this dream of the being that comes back and put things in quotations right, that being would come back and defeat and put to rest, defeat a whole swath of the population. Take a sword, if you will, and wipe out enormous parts of the populace on planet Earth. That has also been a theme of massive amounts of races and beings and cultures being obliterated. And then this being comes back. I always thought that was a horrible dream. I always thought that was a cruel dream, a dangerous dream, a dream that gave religions the feeling that they had the right to execute people or to cause genocides to happen or look the other way when genocides were happening. I still think it's a cruel idea. And I'm happy to say that humanity is waking up to an idea that is much more truthful, much more aligned with the divinity that you are, in which nobody needs to be obliterated in order for this divine light to come and nestle in to every nook and cranny on planet Earth. And that this divine light does not belong to any one particular race or creed or culture or religion. That this divine light is, and you know this, it is your divine consciousness. This is what you are now beginning to believe. This is the new dream. And in this new dream, the pretext for war cannot abide, cannot stay, cannot remain, because in this new dream, everyone is God realized, and therefore everyone is a harbinger of peace, and everyone is aware that everyone is indeed everyone. This is what's coming. It takes a while for the old dream of war to disintegrate, but it is disintegrating, and you are standing in the embers of it now. So this is what causes discomfort for you on this planet, is that it's as though you're standing, my dears, in a burning building. But the building that is burning is a building made of fear, and it could not last anyhow. And your feet are on the solid ground of truth. Do not be afraid. You truly are the birthing of this new rising in consciousness. We speak to you about it every week, don't we? Well, we're speaking to you about it again. I have a lovely little one who would like to come forward and further that message. Zarina has said it's just fine. And so I'm going to step aside and let Mirabelle speak. Hi, everybody. It's Mirabelle. Hi, how are you? I love you all so much. I'm so happy to see you here. Yeah, I wanted to jump into the conversation and talk about my perspective on what happens when each and every one of you looks at whoever is in front of you with tremendous value and comes to that same conclusion that my mother came to, that you're looking at all of humanity, that you are seeing the sea of humanity in the person who is in front of you. So the person in the grocery store, the person at the gas station, the person when you're training your dog, the person wherever you are, that person is the ambassador of all of humanity. And what we're all hoping is that it helps take a burden off of you. You do not have to change the world. Honestly, you don't. All that is needed is a change in perspective for all of us together to understand that the person that we are in front of is the ambassador of the whole world, and we are serving the whole world when we serve this one person. So when we listen, with deep compassion to whoever is in front of us, when we make room for whoever needs room made for, when we make these decisions to spend a little extra time giving our attention to somebody, actually what we're doing is attending to every single human being on the planet. And it's an amazing experience. I'll tell you, being a joy guide is an amazing experience because I get to feel this, not only when I'm with my mama, but when I'm with all of you, because this is what I do. I listen to you. My job, as I understand it, is to attend to you and to joyfully accompany you in whatever you're doing. It could be taking the garbage out. I'm going to be there with you, listening to you, holding you, believing in you in all of your tasks, great and small. They all matter because each and every one of you are ambassadors of all of humanity. And as you are ambassadors of all of humanity, here's what's happening. And our Germaine spoke about this, and sweet Uncle Emmanuel also spoke about it. When you understand that the person in front of you is all of humanity, then you let yourself become all of humanity. And when you let yourself become all of humanity, there is no stranger, there is no immigrant, there is no foreigner, there is no other, there is no they or them. There is that collective knowing that we are us. And I have to tell you, I see this happening. I see it flowering. I've taken many trips. to what you call the Twin Cities in Minneapolis. And I've borne witness to what the humans are calling neighboring, where they go out of their way to make sure that individual humans are being seen and accompanied when they make their movement to and fro. This is proof, as far as I'm concerned, that consciousness is indeed rising on the planet, that each person's joy is joy for all of us, and each person's grief is our own, and no person is an island. I see it. I want you to know that you're a part of it, huge part of it. You are. You are what's happening here. Okay, thanks. I'm going to step aside. I love you all. And I know that Zarina wants to come back in, so let me step aside for Zarina. And thank you, Mirabelle, and thank you, Master Teacher Emmanuel, and thank you, Master Saint Germain, for your beautiful counsel. We are also preparing. Thank you for Red Eagle to come in, because we are aware that he also has been moving his energy forward. We're going to step aside and allow Red Eagle to speak. My sisters, I'm so proud to be here, a part of you, a part of your good red road, and to stand with you as you remember that each and every one of you is indigenous to some part of this planet, that each and every one of you finds your ancestry coming up from the rock of some part of this planet. I have come to the knowing that we are all indigenous, that we are all native, and what really matters when we soar up high, high, high above is that as indigenous peoples to this planet, that we are surmounting challenges together, that we are using our collective compassion as a beautiful, sweet emotion to move around the challenge of the rock, the challenge, the edge of the time that we are in. There has been a beautiful swelling of energy, of what we will call indigenous energy, in which all of the indigenous ones, and again, my dears, you are also indigenous. You have your ancestry in very specific places. You are aligned with certain minerals and certain parts of this planet. Never forget that you are also indigenous. I wanted to let you know that there has been a great council meeting of all the nations, not just the ones that you think of as indigenous to this hemisphere, not simply the nations that come to mind when you think of the names of countries, but a different kind of nation. There has been a council of all the nations, of all the personalities that humanity is. Every feather of humanity has been represented and has come forth. Every feather of humanity has come forth in a great council meeting and come forward and joined all feathers together to create the new wings of humanity, so that humanity may ascend, may soar. This has already happened. We will tell you now that in Earth time, this happened. If you want to think in terms of Earth time, this was roughly 50 years ago. That is when this great meeting, this large meeting of all the nations took place. And it was a beautiful meeting. And we have been holding the power of that meeting ever since. And as we have been holding the power of that meeting, the knowing that each nation is a personality, and each personality is a feather, and that all of these feathers have come together to build wings that support humanity as she lifts up and moves forward. We want you to know that we are aware that you are beginning to recognize yourselves as human beings, humanity that is made of many nations, many personalities, many feathers. When we look ahead, we prophesy, we see a future for our mother, for this dear planet, where the boundaries that have been created, that are made by human beings, those boundaries disappear. And what becomes very clear is that the earth becomes a series of beautiful feathers, and that all of these feathers come together to create patterns for wings, and that these wings ascend this planet. Some of you have already noticed wings or feathers that have fallen from wings, the molting patterns of feathers. Some of you have already noticed this, the sense that humanity is letting go of an old set of wings, the old idea that you are somehow separate from one another. And now listening into the deep council, the gathering of many nations, of many personalities, of many feathers, to build the new wings. We are aware that you are aware. We are aware that you hear that solid drum beat. We are aware that when you go to sleep, you have dreams of the one face of humanity, a face that is a combination of all indigenous faces from all over your planet. We know what you are dreaming, and we are standing with you as you dream. Your group consciousness, Zarina, has given me and the collective that I serve permission to guide you now in a meditation. And we are asking you to see that your feet are the feet of a bird. And you may see and feel your feet as having the claws of a bird, and know that you have indeed flown and that you are getting ready to fly now. You feel your feet as though you yourself are an eagle, and you know that your claws hold to the earth in strong and beautiful ways. You also understand that your claws know how to retract, and that your hold on the earth is now compassionate, and that your claws do no harm, but your claws affirm for you that which you have always known deep in your heart, that you are one with every single being. As you feel now your claws retracting, and the feet softening into the earth. We are guiding you up your very strong eagle legs to feel and know how wondrously strong you are. What you call your thighs, we call your faith. Your thighs are your faith, your strength, your determination. What you call your knees, we call your intuition. Feel your eagle legs, how strong you are, how much faith you have, how agile you are, how intuitive you are. You are coming now into feeling your beautiful eagle chest. You are aware of that mound of feathers coming over your heart chakra. You are aware of your beautiful eagle heart beating magnificently inside. You can see your beautiful, compassionate heart. You know how huge your heart is. You can feel the wisdom of your beating heart. You know how forgiving your heart is, and you observe your heart as it bows in humility and grace and forgiveness and softens its contours to say, yes, I forgive everyone and everything. And yes, I greet everyone and everything, not only as my neighbor, but as myself. And yes, I am finally free. And now we know you are feeling into your eagle wings. We can feel you. We know that you are aware that every single feather in your wings is a feather of humanity, of personality, a feather representing a nation or a personality, a strand of humanity. You are now the wings of humanity. You have incorporated every single feather, every face, every personality, every lifetime, every culture, every language, every creed you have incorporated, all your feathers. And you open your wings and you spread them wide. And aren't you beautiful? Aren't you beautiful? And yes, we know that you would like to take off and fly. And we say, dear ones, not yet. You have still to notice how beautifully your throat opens, how your throat chakra is the way that peace manifests, and that when you lift your beautiful beak up and move your beak back and expose that beautiful throat chakra, the area of divine manifestation, that the call that comes out from you is a call that gathers all into perfect safety in your nest. You are gathering every leaf and every flower, every grain of sand, every tiny frog. You are gathering every least twig. You are gathering all of the dust of this planet, and you are gathering every nation, every personality, every aspect of humanity. You gather with your beautiful manifesting cry, saying, come to me, all you who are weary, all who labor, and I will give you rest. And this is true, for you are the very rest that humanity has asked for. And you are now aware of the beautiful crown of light that encircles your eagle head. You may have wondered when you were human, why do they have white heads? Well, that is your crown chakra. I am standing with you. I am Red Eagle, And yet I too have a white head, for my crown chakra is brilliantly white, and so is yours. Are we not ready to fly now, dear ones? Are we not ready to lift? And so we do. And so we are lifting. And so we are hovering. Many of you have had this dream of flying, of hovering. You are now doing so effortlessly, easily. Flying, flying up above your bodies, up above this Zoom room, up above this planet. And as you come farther and farther up, you can see that beautiful river of peace, that song of love that is humanity, circling around the rock of circumstance, the rock of happenstance, the rock of disorder, the rock of chaos. And you are aware with your eagle vision of how beautifully all of humanity, for you are every person, are gradually allowing that rock to decompose with the beautiful movement of the river of peace that you are. My dear ones, hover with me a little while longer. As I remind you gently, it is not enough to see in your master's face the eye of the divine. It is more important to know that your master sees you as the very eye of the divine. Even though I call myself a master teacher, I am no different from you. We are all masters here. We are all divine here. We are all flying high above this planet. And gradually, we are circling our way in beautifully heavenly patterns of light and love, crystalline patterns of beautiful geometry guiding our way down. We are seeing our nest, this place that we call our home. We are seeing all of the potential, the things that we have yet to do to accomplish all these eggs sitting in the nest. And we are determined to alighten upon our potential with strength, but also with grace, with compassion, with lightness of being. And here we are. Here we are. Our wings enfolded one around the other, sitting upon the eggs of potential. Dear ones, this meditation that I took you on in many ways mirrored the Council of Nations that happened 50 years ago. This was very much like the pattern of flight that we took together. And now you can say that you have been a part of the Council of Nations, and you can say that you are also Red Eagle, and you can say that you are also here to see, to protect, to nurture, to be nurtured, and to rise. And I can say that I am proud to be a part of your beautiful journey. Thank you for allowing me to guide you. I give you all my heart In the words of my people, aho. And this is Serena. We want to thank Red Eagle and all those who have come and combined to be a part of our evening here together. Dear ones, as you know, it is time now to remember the beauty of your physical bodies, to remember that you made a commitment to shine your light within and as your physical bodies. You feel that delightful return to your feet and the ability to curl your toes and to your knees. You know that your thighs are humming with energy. You can feel your hands and you know that they are beautiful. You remember that every hair on the top of your beautiful head is numbered and that you are every person, that your eyelashes are the eyelashes of every person, that you are, of course, fully human and fully divine. And we share that with you. It is time now, gradually, slowly, bring yourselves forward, knowing that you are seen and knowing that you are loved. And namaste.